I cannot wait to tell you about this story. This one's really crazy. It just goes on so long, but it's like, oh, it's so worth it. Anyway, before I get into it though, my name is Katie Sauter. I am a wedding planner and I go into drama. And if you want to have me read your story, submit it. It's linked in the description below, and there's a chance I will read it. It could be really fun. But first, don't forget to smooch that like button and put a ring on that subscribe, but keep your love PG for me, okay? All right, let's get into it. This one I found on r/weddingshaming from Morty and Murphy. It is titled "A Summer Wedding Outside in North Carolina, but It Got Worse." Now, I already feel a little attacked because I also had a summer wedding in North Carolina because that's where I currently live. But it was mostly indoors, except for the ceremony, which was under shade at 5:30 p.m. and it was actually like a really beautiful day. We really lucked out. It was very hot though. It was definitely like 98. Anyway, moving on. The story in a summer in North Carolina. Let's go for it. This happened years ago, but I hope you guys enjoy the wedding more than I did. To begin, the bride and groom were a mismatch made in hell, but they claimed their love overcame all obstacles. He was a small town edgelord that loved being the most intelligent person in the room. She was an even sorry, wait. These are fantastic descriptions already. I'm excited. It's like I can already picture who this is in my head. I don't know why he has black hair and maybe like a blue streak and is kind of punk almost. She was an even smaller town church girl who loved being the most righteous and proper person in the room. They've been divorced a few years now, much to the shock and awe of no one. Everyone that knew them still talks about this absolute stinker of a wedding. The title is only the beginning of the cringe. Early September in North Carolina is just August's sweaty butthole. I think that day was a crisp 98 Fahrenheit in the shade, or 37 Celsius, with that classic Carolina warm peanut butter air. It's just the perfect description that perfectly describes how this feels. Of course, to make time for photos before dinner, the ceremony took place in the early afternoon. Fans were not provided, but I sweated completely through my best $40 dress. The fields of the winery would have been a lovely backdrop if they hadn't been frying like Waffle House eggs all summer. The preacher, who was stereotypical Southern Baptist, in that he trusted the Lord to handle his type 2 diabetes, looked like he was physically melting through his robes. Oh my gosh. All right, already props to this author. This is an extreme visual. The peanut butter air is still getting to me. They blasted 3 lines of a Coldplay song through a crackling speakers in the back of a truck, while the bride's father, equally as rotund as the preacher, power walked down the aisle. That is not what you do. You walk like this down the aisle. You're not doing this. No one's doing this down the aisle. Got it? Okay, got it? Please? If this is you, if you're planning your wedding, I have a free wedding planning timeline linked in the description below, but do not power walk down the aisle, okay? The preacher ran through the ceremony like a white biggie, and the photographer matched that energy. The bride was not amused and had her classic Dolores Umbridge face for the entirety of the rest of the evening. My poor now husband was a groomsman, and they all had to wait in the heat to get their pictures taken. I hiked a solid quarter mile to the reception building on the property in my second best $80 heels, grabbed a pitcher of ice water, and hiked back. The bride pouted about everyone wanting to break for water in the shade and snapped at a couple family members. I stayed out of the way of that. Finally, sunburnt and sweaty, the whole party makes its way to the reception space, myself included, since I wasn't hiking back and waiting by myself. When we got there, I scope out the bar, only to be informed that the bride's religious family did not approve of alcohol and did not pay for any kind of drink package for a wedding at a winery. Thoughts and prayers for those guests. All right, okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, I guess. I'm just having fun with the shaming. I honestly wouldn't judge too hard for this. Alcohol's expensive. She wanted an outdoor wedding, and budgets sometimes necessitate choices of that kind. I was just happy to be out of the sun. I asked the nice lady for a refreshing, decadent, lovely, ice cold Diet Coke. The drink machine was taunting me, dancing seductively in the fog of my mild heat stroke. The nice woman in a banquet hall uniform sadly responded, and I had to ask her to repeat herself. The only options available for this event are water, sweet tea, unsweet tea, and lemonade. She cringed and braced herself for a tantrum. Not that I would have thrown one, but I was stunned, heartbroken, even. I asked for a half tea, half lemonade, went through the stages of grief, and went to scope out the food. So wait, there wasn't even like a cash bar or like a bar that you could pay for alcohol at? Because that would at least help a little bit, but okay. Never mind. Planner Hat is asking questions. If there is one thing you should not mess up at a wedding in the American South, it's the food. People will respect you more for having one or two options cooked perfectly by a family member than a whole buffet of mediocre, which is what I found waiting for me. Room temperature lima beans with a speck of seasoning or smoked meat, cold mac and cheese, dry chicken, soggy green beans that never saw the inside of a spice cabinet. Oh no. Oh god. That sounds like the absolute worst. I'm sorry. None of that sounds appetizing. Just the saddest version of cheap banquet hall food. Around this time, I learned that despite there being a dance floor, there would not be any dancing. There were no fun activities to fill the time either, other than cornhole, the game with the beanbags, which no one was playing because, and I cannot stress this enough, it was hotter and more humid outside than the devil's taint on a Pelaton. It's the best description. This person is an author. After sawing through a quote-unquote brisket and choking down some corn, we joined the groomsmen in the parking lot for some actual libations, a bottle of cheap vodka we passed around, waited for the appropriate amount of time, and then performed a near soberish Irish goodbye. Sounds like a disaster. I get it. I get it. All right. We complained the whole 2 hours home, applied aloe vera to our poor skin, and resolved to never attend an outdoor summer wedding again. They got divorced less than 6 months later. I think they were still paying off her dress. I'm sorry, I just really love this author's descriptions. The warm peanut butter air in the North Carolina sun is exactly how that feels. In fact, one of the commenters, She Loves Chocolate, just wrote, warm peanut butter air, what a description, I can just feel it. The OP wrote, I had to use a butter knife just to get out of the car. I don't know who this OP is, but I kind of want to be friends. Can we be friends? Oh, someone else commented on this person's writing. They throw RA_palm wrote, you have quite a way with words, and a laughing emoji. And the OP responded, thank you. I firmly believe that if you're going to complain, you should do it right. I think we could all learn from that. Someone else, speaking about just their authorship in general, another person wrote beautiful_pizza 9882 wrote, would you please write a book? You could talk about golf, the most boring sport? /subject on the planet, in my opinion, and I would hang on to every word. Honestly, same. The OP responded, I had to caddy for my father at the course, so it's funny you bring up golf. The clubs were as heavy as I was, and all of my fellow caddies were high school and college age boys. I was 13 and would have made Tina Belcher look suave. Not the coming of age summer I wanted, but hey, it's the one I got. Good God, it's growing, wrote. I myself am here for hotter than Satan's taint on a Pelaton. Butterfly with bullets wrote, being from Arizona, I can relate, but I guess it's a dry taint. EMR 830 wrote, that can't be comfortable. No. Jesse Jazzy 123 wrote, wow, was not expecting my best $40 dress, Diet Coke and Waffle House in the same post. The OP wrote, I hold no illusions about who or what I am. Yes, that's right. To tell this story without including those descriptions and metaphors would be betraying the true spirit of North Carolina. Bulky Class 4528 wrote, I'm interested in what your best pair of shoes is. OP responds, man, I was trying to think of a joke, but the truth is funnier than anything I could come up with. I have my Crocs and my hiking boots that I wear the most. I still wear the $80 heels for events because I've taken good care of them. They're comfortable and they still get compliments. Like I said, I know who I am. Another commenter, Santa, I know him. Would have been great passive aggression to move the cornhole equipment indoors to the dance floor. Actually, that's not a bad idea. OP wrote, we would have if there had been room to fart inside the building. buildings event space. Seriously, can we be friends? If you see this, email me. Let's be friends. I'm also in North Carolina. If you like this content, you should follow for more and check out some of my other stuff here.